Hey, folks, welcome back to the Greybeards podcast. With me, the normal crew. We've got Ken Campbell, former decorated Navy Special Operations and Military Intelligence and National Security in the private sector, and Bob Sands, my buddy for many, many years, as is Ken, uh, Hall of Fame investigative journalist, and me, longtime foreign correspondent for NBC and CNN. Um, anyway, guys, how you doing?
Real good. Having a
Good.
great day.
Anything happened today?
No, nothing special. It was just another day.
Yeah, no,
I thought it was
you know,
great,
I
Mike, that Bloomberg somehow got a copy of the
Yeah,
14-point draft, and of course,
I
you
read
know,
it
B
yesterday.
yeah, Beastworks Information Group, we jumped on that and we factored it into, our baseline report that we put out on Monday regarding these negotiations for the negotiation and got that out, but, wow, wow.
you
We're we're
know,
gonna we're gonna need you to walk us through this, Mike. It's
yeah,
a
we'll go
it's
Yeah.
a
through each
real
point.
it's a real you-know-what show.
I don't uh, I haven't seen a deal like this since Vietnam and the Paris Accords. Um, and I think this eclipses that as a bad deal, but on the upside, the war for now is stopped. Energy prices are going down. I'm not, because we took military options off the table, I'm not sure he could have gotten a better deal, frankly. I mean, if you want to end the war, um, you're going to have to keep fighting.
Yeah,
And
Mike, that's the problem here, I think, is that everything that goes on in this administration is treated like some kind of business deal, transactional. It's like, oh, this war is really messing up the economy and a whole lot of other things that I'm not sure they thought about, you know? I mean, I heard Trump saying in a social media clip, nobody told me they were going to close the straits. Nobody told me about all these mines, and you know, he's treating this like a business deal. It's like, okay, I'm tired, I'm done. Let's figure it out and move on.
and I think as part of that, Ken, is that Trump believes and the people around him believe that you can change people's behavior with money.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true. In the short term, to get the money, yeah. But do you really think you're going to change the behavior of the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Mustafa al-Khamenei, when you've killed his father, killed his wife, killed his son, um, yeah, and this hatred. We've always been the great Satan to Iran. I don't think they're going to let go of that in the long run for, I don't care how many hundreds of billions of dollars it is. I just don't see it. Uh, what he's done on this is kick the can down the road for somebody else to worry about, who's the next president of the United States. And that's what's happened. So, but I don't know. What do you think, Bobby? I mean, can
Oh, I
money
agree.
change?
I agree 100%. In fact, the money is outrageous. We all remember what was going on when they made the deal. Obama made the deal. It was $1.7 billion that they got. It's 70 billion that's going to be unfrozen that they get, and they get that right away. Then they get to tap into a $300 billion fund that we, taxpayers in America, are going to help pay for, along with, of course, the other Arab nations. So, I mean, we're already approaching $400 billion they make out of this deal. And I'm sorry, the Strait of Hormuz is not going to be open Friday. That's not going to happen. First off, there's still mines that got to be moved out. The insurance industry still is going to take high prices. The captains and the owners of those boats are not going to go through that strait because it's not safe. They have no guarantees. So, I mean, nothing much is going to change. And I just got done looking at the futures market for oil. It's going back up. Yes, it fell a lot, but it's already started to track back up.
Yeah. Wow, that's very interesting, Bobby, because, I saw this morning, it had dropped below $80 a barrel.
Well, right now, according to Bloomberg, if my computer will handheld one will work. Here we go. Okay, WTI is down 76 cents. It's holding at 76, but West Texas Brent crude is 45 cents under $80. It's been going up today. So, yes, they're trending back up, not down. They've already hit their bottom, and it's around $80.
Well, we were
$80
told,
is not going to drop the price that much at the pump.
Well,
and
I
it's
think part
because
of
the
that is
inventories.
that the prices are gonna be a little higher, given that, supplies are down. A
Yeah.
lot of these storage tanks and whatnot across the globe are depleted, you
Yeah,
know?
one of the biggest in America in Cushing, Oklahoma, is almost dry.
Well, there you go.
There was a projection today from the Energy Association, the International Energy Group, that sometime this year there's going to be a glut of oil because the oil guys are going to start pumping like
It'll
crazy.
bounce back, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the short term, and the big oil company executives said this, and we've talked about it on this show, and oil experts have said this. The inventories are so low, as you point out, Bob, because Cushing, right up the road here, it's down to close to empty, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep, it is.
And because that inventory spike was going to hit no matter what in July. They said prices would go up in July. So you can look, I think that they'll start inching back up until, this corrects itself whenever that is later this year or next year. But yeah. And look, it's not a matter of all of a sudden we're going to start pumping everything. They're out there pumping already. I
Yes.
mean, this is not like the oil industry's been sitting on their thumbs, not producing anything. They're out there producing oil, all the oil they can right now. And there's not going to be more. I think, ironically, but speaking of oil, I think one of the ironic things is that in the future, Donald Trump could get the Al Gore Environmental Award coming in about, in a couple of years because, the whole world now is thinking we better start moving to green energy a lot faster than we thought we were. I mean,
Yes.
and I think that is going to be one of the byproducts of this, that people are going to accelerate the move to wind, solar, hydrothermic, hydrothermal, all sorts of other alternative energy sources.
Yeah.
Yeah, the report came in also here last week that solar or alternative energy has now surpassed coal for the entire United States as far as production and use. So coal's already being passed up. It's just and the projection still, even with all the changes that the Trump administration has made, the alternative energy industry is still going to be booming all year long.
Yeah. Hey, well, let's go over each point here on this 14-point plan. I've got it in front of me. This MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. Here is point one. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war are signing this MOU to declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operation against each other and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions of this paragraph. What do you think about point one, guys?
Yeah, I think that's really gonna be a lot of fun because guess who didn't sign up for this? Israel.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
Israel stands to be the big spoiler in this whole thing. And in fact, not to jump ahead, but I think there's two things that are really raw here. One is this particular issue with Lebanon, given that controlling Israel is not necessarily an easy thing to do. We don't know what Netanyahu will do. You know, he already came in on Monday. I think it was Monday morning when this thing was announced, and struck Beirut, hit Lebanese Hezbollah targets, so he claimed, and that got a little spicy. You know, so I think that one stands to be a spoiler. The other thing is the issue over the nuclear weapons development promise not to do it, and then what the hell happens with all the highly enriched uranium. But I'm jumping ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I needed to get that out. I think those are the two you know really important things here. The rest of it, from my perspective, is painful, very painful, given the amount of money that's going to be released and turned over and given back to a regime that is now more hardline than it ever was.
Yes, and they get to start selling their oil right away too, but that's another provision. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I want to hear what you have to say, Bobby, because you understand Israeli politics a little bit. I mean, you've come across that in your career. We
Yes,
won't go into that, but
quite
anyway.
closely. Yes.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting,
um,
Bobby.
Yeah, yeah.
Non-state
but
group related stuff, maybe?
Yeah,
Huh?
we'll
White
tell that
supremacists?
story another day.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
yeah,
but
we'll
that's
tell
good.
that
It's
another
good.
I'm sorry.
day.
I'm sorry.
But
Yeah, seriously, if you're going to allow Iran to go ahead and start selling its oil, aside from all the other money that they're going to just going to pour into that country, wow, they came out of this thing smelling great. They're going to be filthy loaded rich.
and you
And you think
gotta
that's
you,
gonna be spread through the people?
No, no, they're not going to see this money.
You got
Good.
you
all that
know
IRGC leadership and,
Yes,
they're going,
yes,
"We're going to Sizzler. We're going
yeah,
to Sizzler." White boys can't jump, Woody Harrelson, great movie.
yes. But you're right. The Republican Guard is just having a ball with this. They're going to. Who believes they're not going to completely rebuild their military situation with that kind of money?
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. The other
And
thing, and not to digress, because I know, Mike, we need to get through these 14
Yeah.
points, but,
yeah.
there's open source reporting that during this stop pause with some kinetic back and forth, Iran has been taking advantage and rebuilding its missile inventory with the help of Russia, among other things. So,
Well, I mean, the president, though, took great pains in saying that Russia and China stayed out of this. I'm not, I listened to the entire, man, if you uh, listen to that press conference, the whole
I got a
thing,
bridge to sell you guys again, man. I keep selling
yeah.
that bridge.
Well, I'm
Oh,
proud of it that
boy.
you stuck through the whole thing because,
Oh,
Lord, I
it
couldn't.
was, it, it was interesting, I guess is a nice way of putting it. I mean, it took us all over, but he did bend over backwards to really be very nice about Iranian leadership,
Uh-huh.
and he bent over backwards on Bibi Netanyahu as well, and bent over backwards to everybody. This was Trump being nice to everyone, and then he
Well,
was
when's he going to
nice to
invite them all to
China,
the
and
White
he was
House?
nice to Russia, huh?
When's he going to invite them all to the White House for dinner? I mean, my
I don't
God.
know. I mean, that's the problem. There all these other parties that were signatories to the JCPOA are not. This is a bilateral agreement.
Yeah.
This 14-point, and it's not it's an agreement to continue talking, but it's more than that because it unleashes a lot of money to Iran. Let's go to point 2. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran undertake to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity and to refrain from interfering in each other's internal affairs. Okay, that's aspirational. We'll move on. Let's go to 3. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran commit to negotiating and achieving the final deal in maximum 60 days, extendable with mutual consent. So they're going to continue to negotiate. Um, for this, my understanding is, yes, as it says in there, it can be extended, and it will have to, because this isn't going to be done in 60 days. Just won't be. Number 4, immediately upon the signing of this MOU, the United States of America will begin the removal of its naval blockade and any disturbances or impediments against the Islamic Republic of Iran, whatever that means, and will fully end the naval blockade within 30 days. During this period, the traffic of vessels will be in proportion to the number of pre-war traffic being restored by the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America further undertakes to remove its forces from the proximity of the Islamic Republic of Iran within 30 days of the final deal. That line there, that final line, the United States of America further undertakes to remove its forces from the proximity of the Islamic Republic of Iran within 30 days after the final deal. So,
Mike, how do we do that, man? We cruise the Persian Gulf
constantly.
as a security and deterrent capability since since forever. I don't get that at all. Is it
are we going to
1
close
mile
our
offshore?
bases?
Is it 2 miles? Is it 3 miles? What is this?
Yeah, I mean, does it mean we're going to move out of our, our bases in Bahrain and bases we have in,
Kuwait,
facilities we're
Saudi?
using in Kuwait and
Kuwait.
Qatar and airstrips we're using in the UAE? I don't know. And as I read this, it really does. What shouts to me coming through this is that we're saying, you want this, Iran? Let's hand you over all the chips. But, if you want to get out of something in a hurry, and there are good things about getting out of this in a hurry because it was going nowhere fast. But this feels to me like complete capitulation. And for someone who's been around that part of the world, going back to the 1980s, and has dealt with in other locations around the world Iranian terrorism, going back, to the bombing of the Marine barracks in Beirut in 1983. At the time, I was in Beirut. I remember all of that. This doesn't go down well with me. Um, and and maybe it's just because I'm a child of that generation. You know, I grew up on television watching the American hostages, U.S. Embassy hostages, being paraded in front of cameras, blindfolded, humiliated, America humiliated, and we vowed back then that will never happen again. Well, it did. That's my view.
Yeah, well, they want to criticize Carter. You know, this one trumps everything.
No pun intended.
Oh, yes, there was. Of course,
Yes, there
there
was.
It was an opportune moment.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to point 5. Upon the signing of this MOU, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days, 60 days only, from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. The traffic of commercial vessels will immediately start, and considering the need for removing the technical and military obstacle and demining by the Islamic Republic of Iran will be instated within 30 days. The Islamic Republic of Iran will conduct dialogue with the Sultanate of Oman to define the future administration and maritime services in the Strait of Hormuz, in discussion with other Persian Gulf littoral states, in line, and that means coastal states, literal, in line with the applicable international law and the sovereign rights of coastal states of the Strait of Hormuz.
You know what's going to happen, Mike?
No.
Iran and Oman are going to issue the equivalent of easy passes for the ships, right?
Yeah.
An easy pass for toll roads.
Yeah.
And they'll just put it on the bridge, and it will broadcast when they're coming through, and cha-ching, cha-ching,
Ching,
cha-ching.
cha-ching.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly, and what's going to happen is it's going to be called something else, and I've heard people refer to it as the Save the Dolphins Fund, environmental funds. It's going to be called anything but a toll,
A toll.
but it
Yeah.
will be a toll, and it's something that wasn't there until the president, Donald Trump, launched this war.
Hey, Mike,
So
tariffs aren't taxes, man. No, they're not taxes. The
there we go.
American consumer, it's the same thing.
Well,
It's double
this is
speak.
consistent with his position on tariffs, so
It's
we
this
can
damn
say that.
double speak. It's this damn double speak.
It is consistent
And
with that.
again, I say the American public is smarter than that.
Here's the big one. The United States of America undertakes with regional partners to develop a definitive, mutually agreed plan with at least $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The mechanism for the implementation of this plan will be finalized as part of a final deal within 60 days. All required licenses, waivers, and permissions needed for the relevant financial transactions will be granted by the United States of America. So, again, this is the U.S. Again, remember, this is just an agreement between the United States and Iran right now, and no one else has signed on to coming up with this $300 billion. Wherever that money comes from, frozen assets. But I think this is well beyond the frozen assets. I believe this is, people. This one thing I didn't think would happen. Let's say 2 weeks ago, the Iranians were demanding reparations, and I said, "No way will we do that."
Guess what? They just got him.
They just got him.
Yeah.
And it says a minimum of 300 billion.
Yeah.
Not a maximum, a minimum of 300 billion. And if you're, I don't know, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, you've got your own infrastructure issues to rebuild. I don't see you contributing a lot of money to a fund to help Iran too, since they blew up your stuff. So anyway, just my view. Number 7, the United States of America undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions against the Islamic Republic of Iran, including the United Nations Security Council resolutions, IAEA Board of Governors resolutions, and all unilateral U.S. sanctions, primary and secondary, in an agreed upon schedule as part of the final deal. The Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America acknowledge the critical importance of the sanctions termination issue above mentioned and express their intention to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a real bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, everything's cool. We're going to just forget everything, and you guys can go ahead and do whatever you want to. Wow.
Speechless. I'm speechless.
Yeah. Number 8, the Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms that it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. Okay, good. But that's the same thing they said in the Obama Accord. The
And
United
they said
States.
20 years before that, too.
Yeah, true. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran have agreed to resolve the disposition of stockpiled enriched material pursuant to a mechanism that will be mutually agreed upon in accordance with the schedule mentioned in paragraph 7, with the minimum methodology to be downblended on site under the supervision of the IAEA.
So,
the two
Mike,
parties.
Mike, I got to interrupt for a minute. You know, here's the deal with this uranium and the threat specter of Iran building a bomb.
Go for it.
So the Ayatollah who got whacked on the 28th of February, okay, he had put out a dictum, probably in a fatwa, thou shalt not develop a nuclear weapon. We shall develop highly enriched uranium. We shall have that there. And, you know, you could sit there and all day long talk about, you know, that being used as, you know, kind of a threat specter, but the Ayatollah was in charge. Okay, so they didn't necessarily go down that path, irrespective of whatever, you know, the belligerents are saying on, you know, one side or the other. I know Israel is, you know, really pressurized, existential threat, all that stuff aside. Okay, to now we have the IRGC leadership in charge, and we have the Ayatollah's son, who has stepped into the theocratic leadership role, who has been seriously wounded, who probably doesn't have the same gravitas as daddy and influence as daddy. And so then the question is, well, you know, what are the constraints to throughput? They're going to say, they're going to agree, we won't do that. But I think we're now in a more dangerous situation given the fact that we got military guys now in charge, and they're hardliners.
Very much.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's those are all fantastic points, Ken, and wow, this is. I mean, I just reading this, let me continue to read the rest of this point, which is this is point 8. The two parties also agreed to discuss the issues of enrichment and other mutually agreed matters related to the Islamic Republic of Iran's nuclear needs, based on a satisfactory framework being agreed upon in the final deal. The final deal will confirm the provisions of this paragraph. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran acknowledge the critical importance of the nuclear issues above mentioned. They expressed their intention to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. You know, yeah, I mean, and you pointed out, Ken, all the holes in that and what Iran had already said they would not do, and what was, you know, in the earlier accords. Anyway, that's number 8. Number 9, and this is, I got to tell you, number 9 is one that really bothers me, and I don't know more than all of them. But let me read it. Pending the final deal, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran agree to maintain the status quo. The Islamic Republic of Iran will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program, and the United States of America will not impose any new sanctions and will not deploy additional forces in the region. We took, in paragraph number 9, we promised to give up all of our leverage against Iran, everything, to keep the status quo that was in effect before the war. We're giving away everything. I think number 9 is the most dangerous paragraph or point of all in this. Number 10, the United States of America undertakes that immediately upon signing this MOU and until the termination of sanctions, U.S. Department of Treasury will issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil, petroleum products, and derivatives, and all associated services, including banking transactions, insurances, transportation, etc. Yeah, that's the sanctions paragraph. All of it's gone. What did Iran do to what positive have they done to warrant us lifting all sanctions? But again, More negotiations to come. This is a memorandum of understanding, but they're working from this basis. Number 11, the United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will mutually agree on the procedures related to the release of these funds during negotiations. Such funds, whether retained in the original account or transferred, shall be made fully usable for payment to an ultimate beneficiary designated by the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America undertakes to issue all necessary licenses and authorizations accordingly. What do you think about that one?
Well, they signed the deal on Wednesday. I mean, this deal's already been signed. It's been in effect since Wednesday of this week, today. So that means right now their funds are free. They're frozen assets.
I'm sure they're moving them. They're moving them before Bibi attacks.
Yeah, but they have to. Because Bibi is not going to sit back and let the Hezbollah continue to launch rockets in their direction.
Yeah, and and again, going back to the other points at the beginning, again, let's remember the two signatories of this are Iran and the United States. Israel wasn't consulted. I don't know I don't think the Gulf states were. Saudi Arabia may have been more than the Gulf states. I don't know precisely, but
here's the thing: is that there's so many foreign banks that are tied to U.S. banks. And the sanctions that have precluded Iran from tapping that money really trickle down from the fact that U.S. banks have to adhere to these things, and any of their subsidiaries and or their associate banking partners. And it's a real interesting thing how the banking system can get locked up and frozen, by consortia that are umbrellaed by UN and a whole range of agreements, but really, the major heavy hitter in there has been the United States, because we have a banking industry that has threads through everything. But here's the thing. This is what I want to say about all this gack that's coming out. I can see the administration saying, "Well, look, here's the deal. If they misbehave, we're just going to bomb the crap out of them." And that's the thing here, is that's the stick. And that's what he'll say. We're going to do all this. And if they behave, that's fine. But, if you think this is all about, confidence building measures and cooperative, engagement, no, it's all caveated, with the wink, wink, nod, nod, that we're going to just beat the shit out of each other or beat the shit out of them. And here's what they've proven, Mike, and we talked about this, right? They may not win the engagement, but they sure as hell haven't lost.
Very true.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, my 2 cents. Sorry.
No,
but you're absolutely right. He already said that. He said that today. Trump already said, if they don't play nice, boom, I'm going to blow them away.
Let's go to point 12. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran agree that an executive mechanism will be established to monitor the successful implementation of this MOU and the future compliance of the final deal. Be interesting to see, what group is formed to do that. Number 13, after signing this MOU and subject to the beginning of the implementations of paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11 of this MOU and the continuing implementation of these measures, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will start negotiations regarding the final deal exclusively on the other paragraphs. And number 14, the final deal will be endorsed by a binding United Nations Security Council resolution. That's it.
Oh my.
I was going to go see if I get a white sheet and lay out the white flag here out the window, but
oh my.
It, I mean, to the president's defense, this is there is no leverage unless you're willing to use it. And using it would mean the loss of a lot of American lives. So this does prevent that. It does, um, you know, uh, uh, probably keep.
Well, you can't put a price on one American life, one soldier, sailor, Marine,
Yes.
Coast
Well,
Guardsman, civil servant. You just can't.
I wonder what the families of the American servicemen and women who've been killed, what 13, um, what how they feel about this. That's what I'd like to know. Uh, you
Well,
know,
remember what Trump said in the first administration when he toured the cemeteries there at Normandy.
Bunch of
I'm not even gonna
suckers.
repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I
Suckers and
know,
losers, right?
and I think that's in the back of his mind. Even though you may not speak it again, like that, that's in his brain. But I think that, but all of these problems are problems that he created by authorizing the military operations, the war against Iran. And now we're at a point where the world was screaming for this war to end because so many people were being hurt all across the globe by this. And one other thing I will say is, Iran's probably more willing to say, no, we don't want a nuclear weapon because they found something, because we did this war, they found something more powerful than a nuclear weapon that affects every corner of the globe, and that's the
Oil.
Straits of Hormuz.
Yes.
So they don't really need a nuclear weapon.
No, they can mess with the entire globe by just closing that
And
runway.
it wasn't done before because they didn't know how we would react. And there was a fear factor of the powerful U.S. military, which it is, and that we would go all out and do this. And then they saw, hey, look, America has no stomach for this. Iran has emerged a powerful player on the global stage now. They've emerged as a powerful player that with the flip of a switch can control the world's economy.
Yep.
And
And you
that's the
know how
bottom line.
China views us, which is gonna be another series of podcasts later this year?
Oh yeah. And
Oh,
there
well,
was a
America's
conservative Mark.
declining. They're declining. We don't have to listen to them, we'll pretend to parlay, but at the end of the day, we're not gonna listen to them.
There was a conservative columnist in the Washington Post, Mark Thiessen, who wrote today. He's a very conservative columnist who wrote, "This plan is like going back to World War II, um, implementing the Marshall Plan while the Nazis are still in power." Uh, and you know something? That analogy is true.
Yeah.
But the Marshall Plan was implemented. This is a Marshall Plan. No one's used that analogy yet, but this is a Marshall Plan for Iran, our
Yes.
Yeah,
enemy.
except we were there to administer that money, and we had troops occupying the countries, and
Yeah,
we're not doing
that's what
that
I'm saying.
now.
We won that war. We didn't win this one,
No.
but we didn't win it, and we're paying for it. It's a little bit like what Germany had to do after World War One. You know,
You
the
know what
repayment.
happened to the political system in Germany after World War One, right?
Okay, and I'm old
The
enough, and I've seen the cycle of these things happen, that we won't really truly know the effects of this for probably, another war will arise there with different leaders in, another decade. This is not finished.
I think it'll be
And
faster than that, Mike. Technology, social media, information, it's all flowing much faster. I think the cycle's gonna be faster than 10 years,
you're
believe me.
you're probably absolutely right, kid.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, not sure I'll still be alive when this happens, but
Oh, yeah,
if
you
I
will.
end
We'll be podcasting the Greybeards then. We'll probably be doing duck and cover,
Duck and cover, yes. Excuse me, I have to climb under my desk.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's where we stand on this. I think across the board from everyone, from conservative to progressive and in between. This is not a deal that's being well received. And, you know, the president will continue to jawbone his way or try to jawbone his way out of this, but it's going to be a problem. And it's going to be a problem for down the road for people like J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, who have presidential aspirations in more than 2 years.
Yeah, Trump did make the comment earlier he'd be happy to blame if this goes south. If this deal doesn't work, he'll blame J.D. Vance.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting that
And Hegseth.
yeah, and
Yeah,
that
and
that
Hegseth. Yeah,
and the president's not going to do the signing. He's sending J.D. Vance to do the signing. So he's going to own this.
yeah, all on J.D. Isn't it
So
good to be the VP?
yeah. So
Well,
I think there's more to come on this, and I think Iran is going to speak in some form or fashion. And again, this is a memorandum of understanding, not a final deal. There's a long way to go before this is totally done, but I don't know. Any final words, guys, before we sign off on this?
keep your eye on fuel prices. They're not going to settle nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch Lebanon and Israel.
Close.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen out there, stick with us and stay with us for our next podcast on these issues. We'll keep following it, and then we'll be keeping our eye. If as we talked about on here before, that probably Trump will make a very quick pivot to Cuba to try to come up with a quick victory, just like Reagan did after the Marine barracks bombing, the withdrawal of U.S. peacekeeping Marines in Beirut. The pivot was to an easy, quick, winnable war in Grenada, which I also covered. So be prepared for that. We'll be talking about that. The president's going to be looking for a win, because this isn't one. This is not a win. This is not at all a win. So anyway, thank you, gentlemen, and we'll be talking at you soon.
See you later.
Out here.